You found your way to Whispers of Crimes, a quiet corner where the shadows of the past are gently told. Here, we speak of real crimes and mysteries, not to shock or scare, but to wonder, to reflect, and maybe to help you fall asleep. So close your eyes, let your thoughts slow down, and come with me into tonight's case. In 2004, Singapore was shaken by a tragedy it never saw coming. A cheerful 8-year-old girl named Huang Na vanished from a busy produce center in broad daylight. She was loved by everyone, known by name to shopkeepers, and then, just like that, she was gone. The search that followed gripped the entire nation. Thousands rallied to find her. Her mother never gave up hope. And when the truth finally surfaced, it was more disturbing than anyone imagined. What happened to Huang Na? Who was the man she called Kor? And how did this shocking crime expose the dark corners of even the safest societies? This is the story of innocence stolen and a nation in mourning. Chapter 1. A Child Between Two Worlds. Huang Na was born in 1996 in the southeastern Chinese province of Fujian, a region known for its high rates of immigration. Like many parents from rural China, Huang Na's mother, Huang Xiang, sought work abroad to provide a better life for her daughter. In early 2003, she moved to Singapore to work as a vegetable packer at the Pasir Panjang Wholesale Center, one of the city-state's major produce distribution hubs. By late 2003, Xiang brought Huang Na to join her in Singapore. The girl was enrolled in Jintai Primary School, located in the West Coast area. At just 7 years old, Huang Na quickly adapted to her new life. Despite being in a foreign land, she was comfortable navigating the wholesale center where her mother worked. She became well known among the vendors for her friendliness and independence, often seen chatting with stallholders and wandering freely around the compound. Singapore was considered one of the safest places in the world, a country known for strict laws and low crime rates. It was precisely this reputation that gave Xiang the confidence to allow her daughter a degree of freedom in their tight-knit working-class community. However, this sense of security would soon be shattered in the most horrific way. Chapter 2. The Vanishing, October 10th, 2004. On the afternoon of October 10th, 2004, Huang Na was last seen playing near the Pasir Panjang Wholesale Center. It was a Sunday, and the area, though still busy, was not as active as on a weekday. Huang Na was reportedly wearing a white t-shirt, denim skirt, and sandals when she disappeared. Her friend, an 11-year-old boy, told police that she had gone off to meet a man she referred to as uncle. She never returned. When Huang Xiang realized her daughter was missing, she immediately began searching. After several fruitless hours, she reported the disappearance to the police. The authorities launched a nationwide manhunt, classifying the case as a missing person under suspicious circumstances. Singaporeans responded in a way rarely seen before. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search. Huang Na's face appeared on posters, flyers, newspapers, and television screens across the island. Her school distributed information to parents. Even religious groups and taxi drivers got involved. The Chinese language media provided near constant coverage, with nightly updates and emotional appeals from Xiang. Despite the intense efforts, no leads materialized for days. The sense of helplessness grew, and fear spread. How could a child disappear in such a controlled and safe environment? It would take nearly 3 weeks for investigators to break the case, and they would do so by zeroing in on a man hiding in plain sight. Chapter 3. The Fruit Stall Assistant. Took Leng was a 22-year-old Malaysian national working at a fruit stall at the same wholesale center where Huang Na's mother worked. He had been in Singapore on a work permit and was described as quiet, introverted, and odd. Some colleagues recalled that he exhibited strange behaviors, such as muttering to himself or staring off blankly. Despite these quirks, Took had befriended Huang Na, who saw him as a familiar adult in her daily surroundings. She called him Kor, which means older brother in Chinese. Investigators learned that Took was one of the last people seen with Huang Na. More alarmingly, they discovered that he had abruptly returned to Malaysia shortly after she vanished. He made several cross-border trips during the following week, a suspicious pattern that prompted police to intensify scrutiny. On October 19th, Took voluntarily returned to Singapore and turned himself into the police after learning he was a person of interest. During questioning, he initially denied involvement, but after hours of interrogation and evidence stacking up against him, he broke down. Took confessed to killing Huang Na, though the details he provided were inconsistent and bizarre. He made several contradictory claims, saying at times that he panicked when she started crying, and at others that he had heard voices. Despite his erratic account, he led police to the place where he had hidden her body, an area of forest at Took Leng Hill Park. The discovery would confirm every parent's worst nightmare. Chapter 4. The discovery of the body on October 30th, 2004. 20 days after she disappeared, police found Huang Na's decomposing body buried in a shallow grave at Took Leng Hill Park. She was still dressed in her school uniform. Her remains were wrapped in plastic and placed inside a cardboard box, concealed beneath foliage. The autopsy revealed that she had been strangled. There were no signs of sexual assault, but her exact cause of death could not be determined due to the advanced state of decomposition. Nonetheless, the condition of the body matched Took's confession closely enough to corroborate his involvement. The reaction across the country was overwhelming. Crowds gathered near the funeral site to pay their respects. More than 5,000 people attended her wake at the mortuary, many leaving behind flowers, stuffed toys, and handwritten notes. It became one of the most publicly mourned deaths in Singapore's history, a rare moment of national grief for a single child lost to violence. Her mother, Shang, was inconsolable. She had stayed in Singapore during the entire ordeal, clinging to hope. Now, she faced the unimaginable task of burying her only daughter in a foreign land. The emotional shock of the case was compounded by the public as growing questions. How had someone so familiar to the community committed such a monstrous act? And more urgently, would justice be served? Chapter 5. Trial and Mental Health Controversy. Took Leng. How was charged with murder in November 2004. The case went to trial in August 2005, and it captivated Singaporeans with its grim details and legal complexities. The prosecution argued that Took had lured Huang Na into the storeroom under false pretenses, then killed her in cold blood. His calm demeanor in covering up the crime transporting her body, burying it, and misleading investigators showed premeditation. Took's defense centered on his mental health. His lawyers argued that he was suffering from schizophrenia, and his actions were influenced by delusions and hallucinations. A defense psychiatrist testified that Took was mentally unstable and had a history of abnormal behavior. They claimed he may not have fully understood the consequences of his actions. However, the prosecution countered with testimony from their own psychiatric experts who found no signs of psychosis. They pointed to his elaborate efforts to evade detection and the fact that he had the presence of mind to dispose of the body and flee to Malaysia. The judge ultimately agreed with the prosecution. On August 27, 2005, Took Leng was found guilty of murder and sentenced to death by hanging. He appealed the decision, and the case went before the Court of Appeal in 2006. His legal team again emphasized his mental health, but the appeal was rejected. In October 2006, a final plea for clemency to the President of Singapore was also denied. Took Leng was executed at Changi. Prison on November 3rd, 2006. Chapter 6. Aftermath and reflection, the execution of Took Leng brought some closure to the case, but it did not erase the deep scars left behind. Huang Na's murder prompted national conversations about child safety, mental health, and migrant worker policies. It served as a harsh reminder that even in a society as tightly controlled and low in crime as Singapore, tragedy can strike in the most unexpected places. Her mother, Huang Na, eventually returned to China, where she tried to rebuild her life. In interviews, she expressed her continued sorrow and the emptiness left behind. She declined compensation or monetary support, stating that no amount of money could bring her daughter back. The case remains one of Singapore's most talked about child murder investigations. In the years that followed, schools and community organizations began emphasizing child protection protocols. Conversations about mental health, particularly among foreign workers, gained urgency. Singaporeans, often reserved, opened up more about the psychological and social pressures experienced by people like Took. But ultimately, no legislation or system change could undo the pain caused by one man's horrific decision. Chapter 7. Huang Na's legacy. More than 2 decades later, Huang Na's story still resonates. It continues to be referenced in legal studies, psychology forums, and crime discussions, not just because of the brutality of the crime, but because of the way it united an entire nation in grief. For many Singaporeans, Huang Na became the face of innocence lost. Her death marked a moment of collective mourning that transcended race, class, and nationality. Communities came together not just to search for her, but to honor her memory afterward. Her name appears in retrospectives on Singapore's most significant crimes, and her case is still discussed in true crime documentaries, books, and podcasts. Her story is a permanent reminder that safety, while cherished, can never be taken for granted. And for those who remember her, she remains the little girl with the warm smile who only wanted to play near her mother's stall and whose absence changed a country. That's all for tonight's story. Another thread in the web of true crime, quietly unraveling as the night goes on. If you're still with me, thanks for listening. And if sleep has already taken you, may your dreams be peaceful and your mind at ease. I'll be here next time by the fire with another story waiting to be told. Good night, and don't forget to lock your doors.